We all have access to the cosmic Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And you already have the password. It's I am. The sun forsake me and the moon forgave me. Hi everyone, welcome to The Awakened Journalist. My name is Emiliana Molina Fajardo, and we do conscious journalism for the good of humankind. Today I have the pleasure of having with me Salva Alba. He's a singer, songwriter, music producer, founder of Light Frequency Productions. He was born in Dominican Republic. His music journey started when he picked up the bass guitar for the first time at 13 years old, and he later joined a few local rock bands. He chose to answer an inner calling, exploring the medicine music world, which led to his first creation of a first solo project, Salva y La Salve, Salva y La Salve. And I recommend that you guys stay till the end because he's going to play a beautiful song for us. And today, Salva actually devotes his music to the service of others, opening their hearts to heal and to expand into a deeper cosmic awareness. He's currently located in Miami, Florida, where he produces new music for himself and other artists, also as well in the medicine music world. Salva, welcome.
Thank you, Emiliana. Thank you so much for having me here today. Really happy to be sharing this moment with you.
I love it. Me too. Me too. You're the first interview that I'm doing today in the studio, so welcome.
Thank you. Congrats on this. Yes, yes.
Salva, before we jump into who you are, I want you to just give us a brief explanation of what medicine music is for the people that don't know.
Okay, beautiful. I'll tell you as far as I know from what is my perception and my truth. I believe that originally medicine music is music that comes from the ceremonies of all these native tribes throughout America, throughout North and South America, not just the United States, the whole continent, and even other places of the world. But it's music that it's, in its essence, it has the intention to heal our hearts, to heal our emotions, to heal our minds, our bodies. It's music that has that deeper intention before anything. Like, from my perspective, medicine music goes centuries and thousands of years back, because mantras are the essence of medicine music. And if anything, I believe, this is my theory, this is my belief. I'm not a researcher, no scientist, but to me, I mean, medicine was the start of music. I mean, if you come to think about how music might have started, it might have been around the ceremonial rituals that our ancestors would hold. So it starts from there. But now, in 2024, all these centuries, all these millennia later, to me it's just music that has that intention, that purpose of healing, of touching people's hearts, touching people's souls, and really empowering them of who they really are, their truest potential, their higher self, and clearing their paths for them to really connect with that. Like, it goes beyond a rhythm or a sound or a genre. It's the intention, it's the message, it's the power behind the music, more than if it's a reggaeton or if it's like a really relaxed, chill music, or if it's a merengue or rock. It can be, it's hard to define a genre when it's about the message and not how it sounds. So yeah, that's like a little recap of how I define what medicine music is.
I love that. That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And I love to say that all music is medicine, because, for example, I do love reggaeton, and I know a lot of people criticize the lyrics, and they're harsh lyrics sometimes, and they definitely bring you to an underworld.
Yeah.
And with that said, though, I think it could also be very healing, for example, when we get into layers of dancing with those dark parts of ourselves. And it's an expression and a way of liberation of that arrows or that dark side and that energy in a way for me. So it could also be very healing and transformative. However, with the medicine music that we're talking about and that you're going to sing for us at the end, I do believe that there is a higher energy, a higher vibration, and a power that comes with the lyrics and the sounds that can truly elevate all of your bodies, not just emotional, spiritual, or energetic, but also physical, to a state of love, unity consciousness, awareness, serenity, which is very different from what reggaeton music could do, which can oftentimes bring you very much, in my particular case and the way I experience it, to that primitive nature and that animalistic nature in a way. With that said, I want to go into who is Salva. Tell me a little about yourself, about your background.
So yeah, I'm just this curious human, or whatever being a human is, going through life, experiencing it in every way possible, trying to stay true to myself, to my purpose, to what my heart tells me. So like you said earlier, I'm from the Dominican Republic. I've been living here in Miami for almost 3 years now. I came here, I was just visiting my family. I left the DR with the intention of following my path through music, which I was not doing for the last 10 years. I was dedicating my life to something different that I love too, but I felt that it wasn't truly my calling, my purpose. So I came here just, was going to be with my family for a little bit, go to Mexico, and trying to find my path there, because I had been already there and I had seen some things that really called my attention. And then I come here and I find this community that is like exploding with so much offerings and so much things that I had never seen in Miami before. All these events, all the conscious music festivals, cacao ceremonies, sweat lodges everywhere, like all these things that I wanted to connect with in Mexico because I had seen them there and not here. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, they're here. And I get to be around my family. And also all these artists started noticing, like, hey, you have talent to produce music. That's something that you can do. And we've been looking for someone in this realm to do that, to support us in that way. And it's just, that was my dream. It was to really commit to music, and to music that I loved, music that I felt that had that intention that we've been speaking about, and that higher purpose. So I was like, okay, no, I think everything that I was looking for is right here. Let me explore this. And here I am 3 years later. That month trip turned into what is my life now. And yeah, I'm currently dedicated full time to music, writing my songs, producing music for other artists, recording meditations for facilitators, creating the music for those meditations, creating experiences with my duality, my partner, my wife Barbara. We got this project of she's also in this healing realm, so connecting her gifts with my talents and creating offerings together like that. So yeah,
I love
that's
that.
a little bit of who I am.
I love that, and I love that you guys work in partnership and co-create together. It's really beautiful to witness you guys. And I've met Barbara. She's a beautiful person, a beautiful human.
She is, indeed.
Salva, you said a phrase that I want to dive a little bit deeper into. And in this podcast, I love saying that we undress our hearts. So I'm going to ask you for full permission to undress your heart.
Please, let's go.
And undress your soul.
Go.
Let's go. Let's get
Bring in the vulnerability.
Exactly. I love it. This is what I feel the most joy in, sharing vulnerabilities and this deep human connection with people. So you said, I'm just trying to stay true to my heart and trying to stay true to my purpose. And that really landed for me, because it can be so hard to stay true to our purpose sometimes in our heart.
It's hard.
And, not let the ego get in the way.
Not let the ego get in the way, and all these external factors that can sometimes block us. Because, sometimes following our heart means quitting a good paying job to pursue a career that you don't know when and where money's going to come from. but you know that you have to do it because every time you're doing the other thing, as well as you're getting paid, it's like you're dying every second.
Inside, you're feeling miserable.
You're feeling this and I've done it. It's like it's a feeling that it's like wow, like it's so unbearable to me. Like I've done it. I've been employed in jobs that I don't like, and it's just like so heavy on me. The minute I am doing what I love, it's like I am enjoy all day. Like, yeah, there is stress. I'm not going to say that there's no stress when you have deadlines, when you have things that you have to finish, you got projects, you got things coming up. You know, there is stress and there is moments when things are not, you know, rainbow, all glitter and gold.
Yeah.
But it just feels good. And somehow the abundance comes in one way or another. We dive into these projects and we don't know where the funding is going to come from. But we just do it because we know that we have to do it. And all of a sudden, you know, one way or another, something shows up, like another project that can pay for what I'm doing with this project. And it's just, yeah, it's interesting. It's a very challenging thing. It takes commitment and faith.
A lot of faith.
A lot of faith. And faith in whatever you want to believe in, whatever you want to hold on to. And I think it's, in the end, it's like, yeah, it's complete surrender.
Complete surrender and faith.
Total surrender. Yeah.
So I chose a word for this year, actually, to remind myself to stay motivated anytime I kind of just want to throw in the towel, because this is actually the first time that I booked this studio to do these interviews for my podcast. I was ready to take the podcast to the next level and invest more time, more energy, and more money into it, because I've been pouring my heart into it for the past 3 years. However, I've also abandoned it for certain periods of time too, and it's in a way, you know, a little bit of self-sabotage, doubts, allowing the imposter syndrome to get in the way, and to feel like there was no tangible results to see, you know, where this is headed. And I finally said, you know what, doesn't matter where it's headed. What matters is that if I don't do this, for me, I feel miserable and sad and, you know, depressed. And so I booked the studio. I brought you in. I have a few other guests coming in today.
Amazing. And
it's kind of going back to those trials and tribulations of, are you going to stay on mission? Are you going to stay on purpose? Are you going to continue to try to listen to your heart, even though it can be hard sometimes? And so the two words that I chose for this year are faith and surrender and trust as well, but very much faith. Like, have faith that if I take inspired action in what I love to do, the support and all the resources that I need will come in.
That will come in.
And the prosperity will come in as well.
The prosperity will come in.
So.
And I think you said something there that really caught my attention. I lost it.
That's okay. I love it. That happens to me all the time.
I'm like, you were saying, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to lose what you're saying and get, you know, like how sometimes we get caught up in like, oh, I want to say something about that. And then I lose everything else that you're saying. But no.
That happened to me like 3 times yesterday. I was like, I swear, I was having an intimate conversation and I was like, I swear this story that I'm telling you had a point to what you were saying, but I can't remember
I can't go
it's
back
okay.
to
It'll come back to you.
It will come back eventually.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, for conscious humans or those humans that are choosing to awaken to a deeper level of consciousness within themselves every day more and more, just know that, yes, listening to your heart's calling can be challenging. Yes, it requires you letting go of old versions of yourself. In my case, it was quitting the news industry, quitting the White House correspondent job, you know, being at the highest levels of my career and what any other journalist in the world would dream of, and only like 0.1% make it there. And realizing that I was very much looking for a deeper meaning in life and deeper purpose. And that staying in a position like that was more for my ego and my identity and the way that I was perceived with the audience that I had established and with my family. And, you know, it was very hard for my mom in particular for me to quit. She, for 2 years, was like, but you should go back, but you're so good. How can you not go back? Like, you were doing so great. You were, you know, and kind of having that conversation with her and having her as a mirror, also reflecting the inner battle that I was having within myself of how am I going to make it on my own?
I'm sure you were telling yourself those things at a certain part of
exactly.
a certain point.
100%.
So she was just doing it face to face with you instead of your subconscious mind being back there. So.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. And going back to that word of faith and full surrender, and just as long as I listen to what's in here, eventually everything will unfold for the highest good.
Yeah.
So
always understanding that everything is perfect as it is, you know, like and it came back to me what it was that you said.
I love it.
And it was like asking ourselves a question: what is the price of us doing these things? Like, you know, how much do I need to put into to make that happen? What is the price of the studio? What, you know, what's that gonna cost me, like monetarily? But what is the toll that it's taking on me not doing it? What is it costing me when I'm like sitting here and saying, no, I can't do it? How is that making me feel? How is that like keeping me down and tearing me down? Because I know that I'm not doing what I'm here to do.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's that question, like, yeah, there's how much, what's the price, but how much does it really cost me? What's the price to do it, but what's the cost of not doing it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, staying in traditional news outlets was feeling like it was just soul sucking. Like, that's how I can explain it.
I can't even begin to imagine.
And,
I'm not going to go there because, you know, we can get into the conspiracy realm all of a sudden, you know, like with one switch of the flip. But I can't even begin to imagine what it must be like to be there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, you know, a lot of dreams achieved, too. Like, I can't say that everything was bad. It was a lot of amazing experiences.
For sure.
And, though, just I was ready to live a more joyful and peaceful life and not be covering breaking news all the time, too.
Yeah.
Salva, what has been, do you think, one of the biggest challenges that you faced in following your heart and choosing this path, even with all the questions and the unknown and uncertainty that comes with kind of paving a new way and being a pioneer in your field?
I would say that getting out of my own way. You know, it comes down to that. It comes down to seeing how I'm self-sabotaging myself, how I'm not believing in my potential, how I'm not nurturing myself and tending to myself enough to like show up for myself in my best and then be able to show up to others. Because coming back again to the type of music that I'm approaching. So, well, let me go back a little bit. When I decided that I was going to pursue this, that I was going to start writing my own songs and that I was going to just believe whatever my heart had to share and just put it out there without judgment, I started questioning myself, like, okay, the music industry as I know it so far, you have to become a celebrity. You know, it's like this thing where and I didn't see myself fitting in there, like, at all. So I was questioning myself, where is this taking me? You know, if I'm just going to sing my heart out, pull out all of my vulnerability and sing whatever comes from my heart, what's that going to, you know, where's that going to go? And then I started meeting other artists that were doing it, like Jesus Hidalgo, Moyene Valdez, and I saw them and how they were walking, you know, what was their music leading them to. And I started seeing like, oh, okay, this is possible. Like there is a way, there is a path, there are people doing this, and I can, you know, get inspired by them or be mentored by them and see like, okay, this is the way where, you know, I can go with my music. I don't have to be a celebrity. I can do this and I can get my message out there and connect with people and get to travel the world sharing my songs with people from all kind of cultures. But there was a long process for me to like even to this day, where I have to like, sit down and go back and connect with myself and do all this like positive affirmation exercises, all these things that to keep me on track, to keep me believing that I can really, keep working on these things and keep that my message is still relevant, and it's not that we're constantly looking for external approval, but it just helps so much. From when out of nowhere, like the other day, 3 days ago, I think it was, someone on Instagram from Germany that had, I don't know, saw me. The chills. Yeah. Saw one of my posts from this retreat facilitator in Texas, who I went there with Emilia a couple of months ago, and I'm going back again next April. And she said like, oh, I heard of your music through her posts. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you so much for your message. Thank you for sharing it. It's so inspiring to see you. It's so inspiring to hear your words. And I'm like, wow, like this person in Germany, not directly connected through me, got to listen to my songs in Spanish. Somehow, even if, I don't know if she speaks Spanish or not, if she like looked for the lyrics, translated them, like however she got to the message, even if she didn't understand the message, but like, just that is already, and that was one of the first commitments I made with myself when I did that. It's like, I'm just going to do this because I know one person out there is going to resonate with what I have to say. There's billions of people on this planet. If one person resonates with my message, I'm good. That was my mission. I served it. And that keeps me moving. It's not that I'm constantly looking for that, but it's so encouraging when you see like, wow, okay, I have to keep doing this. I just touched someone's life with a song that for a week maybe I was judging, and I was like, oh, what's this song? Why am I singing this? Why am I going to put this out there to the world? Like, why am I doing this to myself, showing these songs? And then it's like, no, they're not about me. They're not for me. So I think that's the biggest part that moves me and keeps me doing it. It's the understanding that once a song, I like to say that I download them from the cosmic Wi-Fi.
I love it.
I just get, and the other day someone asked like, what's the password? And I said, I am.
I love that. That's so great.
It's so cool. So I was like, I download the songs, they come to me, I put them through, and my first commitment is I don't judge them. I just let them come through, and I commit to put them out there because someone is going to resonate with them. And the minute I see someone saying like, wow, your song really inspired me, and I'm like, wow, that song? Really? Like, okay. And then I go like, okay, no, I can't stop.
Yeah.
People need this. There's someone out there that needs to hear this message. So I got to keep going.
I love that.
And that's my drive.
I love that. I love that, Salva. And that's so interesting because something similar happens to me and in my field of work, which is communications and, speaking publicly. And I judge my own podcast. Obviously, we're always going to be our biggest critics. Yeah. And, I had kind of stopped for a little bit, and the other day a friend called me. She was a little tipsy. It was hilarious. It was so cute. So we FaceTimed, and she just went on and on and on about one of the interviews that I did. She was like, you have no idea. I'm going through exactly that same process. Because in a lot of my interviews, I get very vulnerable, very real. I've talked about my divorce. I've talked about cheating. I've talked about, multiple things. And she was like, I was going through the same thing, and I heard your podcast, and it was like what inspired me to say, all right, yeah, like I can do this. And for me, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, we don't need the external validation. And however, though, it is so supportive, especially when we are in a space where we can't pick ourselves up sometimes, which happens.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that.
Yeah, it's necessary sometimes. Like you said, like sometimes we can't pick our own selves up, and that just like, wow, what you just shared was amazing. It's like that hand picking you up, like, okay, wait, let me get up and let me keep walking.
Exactly. And I was actually going to say something else too, and I forgot what it was. it'll come to me as well. Oh, in regards to the Wi-Fi, the cosmic Wi-Fi.
The cosmic Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the cosmic Wi-Fi, and I am.
Yeah.
So I guess I got the password too because.
Yeah.
So I, before going into these interviews, I always say, I work for God, and I just allow God to work through me and to communicate through me, and whatever message the world needs to hear for higher good or to add value to humanity, that's what will come through. Yeah. So I try not to judge it as well. Yeah. And sometimes in my case, it's very vulnerable storytelling. And I know that through my stories, I've witnessed how many people have told me that my stories have supported them in one way or another. So it's definitely, I see it as fuel to keep going or energy to keep going and validation to keep going as well.
Totally. No, what you do is absolutely powerful. Like sitting in front of a camera, a microphone, sharing a story as vulnerable as it can be, or, wherever it comes from. Again, it's just like the songs. It's not too different. It's, you're sharing something that someone out there is going to resonate with, and it's exactly what they needed to hear in that moment in their lives to pick themselves up from whatever it was. So it's to me, there's very little difference between this and music, in that sense of the storytelling. Yeah.
I love that, Salva. All right, so anyone that needs to hear this, this doesn't only work for music or for communications and podcasting. It works for everything in life. We all have access to the cosmic Wi-Fi. Yes. And you already have the password. It's I am. So get connected, get plugged in, and use it wisely because it is a beautiful power to have.
It is.
Salva, you have 3 songs in particular. You have more songs, but 3 in particular that I really love and resonate with. My ultimate favorite is Nuevecita. I also love Puentes, which Puentes actually has the most views and on Spotify for you, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And Said, which you did with Emilia Garth, and I'm actually going to interview her in the podcast as well later.
Cool.
Tell me a little bit about Puentes, because that's the one you're going to sing for us today.
Yeah. Before that, Nuevecita is one of those songs that I wrote out of one of those moments where you just need to sit down and cry.
Yes.
And through it, I was like, how do I turn this into something beautiful? Whatever I was going through in that moment. And that's
Can you share? Do you want to get really vulnerable and share what you were going through?
Sure.
Up to you.
No. Yeah. So I had, I had decided to come here to the States. Starting here and going to Mexico. I had left the DR. I had left, at that point I was sharing a home with who was my partner at that time. We had dogs together. We had been living in that house for a while, but neither of us was happy. We felt like we were not really pursuing our purposes, that we were somehow keeping each other back, and we were in this comfort zone, So it was coming here to Florida, being with my parents, seeing my dad in his final stages of his life.
Wow.
And it was a mix of the sadness of everything that I left behind and the gratitude for everything that I was being able to witness and receive. Because had I not left all that behind, I would have not been able to be there for my dad the way I was.
Yeah.
And I would have not been able to receive everything that I was receiving through music. So it was all that coming together at the same time while in a hotel with my parents, just crying in the bathroom while they're out there watching TV. Because I was it just came to me in that moment. I went in to take a shower. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a shower. And I go sit down and it just I got connected to the cosmic Wi-Fi in one of those sudden ways when you're not I didn't turn the Wi-Fi on. It just happened to catch that hotspot and just the bathroom seems to be a hotspot at points.
Yeah.
And boom, and it just came to me. And that's what I poured out into that song, that it's just, in a recap, it's just it's okay to cry because sometimes the earth, it's necessary for what's coming.
Yeah.
And for what we need to heal, what we need to shed, what we need to learn and understand.
Yeah.
Because we're just told so many times, "Oh, don't cry."
Especially
don't cry.
men.
Especially
Yeah.
men. And,
Yeah.
and women too, but yeah, I'll say especially men. We're told like you can't cry, don't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going to Puentes, Puentes was one of the first songs that I wrote.
And a question before
yeah.
you continue to Puentes, I want to ask you, Salva, did your dad pass or is
He
still
did
alive?
pass. He did
He
pass.
did pass, okay.
Yeah, he had passed about a year and 4 months ago.
Wow, so recent. This
Yeah.
was very recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I was super grateful for to being able to be there for him for that last year of his life, for how connected we got through that year, because we never were in bad terms, but for a big part, our differences kind of like kept us apart, and we've never really connected. That last year, we did got to grow fonder together, and especially for being able to be with him in his last moments like that, and you know, it was very special. It was very meaningful. It was as challenging as it was, and you know, as tough of an experience it can be. I was so grateful that it was for him the way it was.
Yeah.
Like he passed away in his sleep.
Oh my God.
You know,
that's beautiful.
and
yeah.
And it could have gone so many wrong ways, and it went that way, and I am so grateful for it. Like, yeah, I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, it's very peaceful.
So, yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
So now that I listen to Nubecita, it's gonna have a whole other different meaning
there's a new
for me
layer
as well. A new layer to
what's
Nubecita.
all poured into that song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That was really
you're welcome.
vulnerable.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you for opening the space for, you know, the vulnerability to be out there.
I mean, and you know, you are an inspiration right now, and you are giving men a whole other level of permission to be this sensitive, this soft, this gentle.
Yeah.
And also, like, this, you know, there's this perception of what a macho man should look like. And we have this notion that it's like, I don't know, really tough men looking really muscular. And to me, it's like, this is what a man looks like. A man who has so much self-awareness and security within himself to be able to speak about this very vulnerable moment of crying in the shower. I mean, we all do it. I cry in the shower all the time. And it's so intimate. And not everyone gets to see us in that space.
No, and not everyone gets to allow themselves to be in that space.
Yes.
Which is even worse.
Exactly.
Because that means that you're just holding back. The things are there.
Exactly.
Everything, all the emotions, all the feels are there. You're just not allowing yourself to experience them. You're holding on to them, pushing them back, and not processing them. And they come out one way or another. You're probably just taking them out on someone else. You're taking them out on yourself. You know, it's pushing you one way or another. And there's one really great example in the Mexican culture that I like. His name was, I might be wrong, but I believe was Netzahualcoyotl.
Yes.
He was
the god, right?
He was like a god. He was, his.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Quetzalcoatl.
You're thinking of Quetzalcoatl, maybe. But he might be passed on to the god realm at some point, because you know how like they mystify people all of a sudden. We all do that. I mean, it's not just them. I'm not saying anything another Mexicas, you know. It's humans in general. We mystify people once they become a legend. Elvis Presley's still alive, all those kind of things, you know. Yeah. So Netzahualcoyotl, he was a great warrior. He was a very fierce warrior. Yeah. Like, you know, he was feared throughout all of the empire. All of the enemies of the Mexican empire feared Netzahualcoyotl. But he was a great poet at the same time.
Yeah.
And poetry is something that requires sensitivity for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not that you can't be strong and you can't be this, you know, this protector and be vulnerable at the same time. They're not incompatible, you know, like that doesn't, one thing doesn't exclude the other. You can be in touch with your emotions, and you can't be this very strong protector with all your boundaries, all your guards up and ready to defend your family, your life, your, you know, like one thing doesn't exclude the other. That's a very important thing to say, because some people don't want to lose that. Then they think that they'll lose one if they go to the other, but it's not like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful insight to Nuevecita as well. And moving on to Puentes.
that was a long
the bridge to Puentes.
The bridge to Puentes, exactly.
Oh, wow.
So,
which also, pause, sorry. You know, it's interesting that Jesus Hidalgo and Teresita are your mentors because I interviewed them already in the podcast. And Tere had a similar process with her mother. And her mother transcended as well.
Yeah.
And she wrote a beautiful song through that process because of that and to grieve that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love to say that turning your pain into your purpose is a really beautiful way to heal, and also turning that grief or that pain into art is just a beautiful way to cope or process these very strong emotions and these very difficult life situations. So it's a very powerful process. Yeah. And actually it was thanks to Teresita that I was able to have that experience with my dad. Wow. Hearing her share the story that she had with her mother, it's like I could see like, wow, okay, my father is in a path of like, you know, like I don't know when, but this is gonna happen, and I want him to feel at peace when that happens. What can I do? How can I show up him in everyday life and throughout his final moments so that I can give him something as beautiful and peaceful as that? So yeah, it was. It's funny that you mentioned it because it was exactly that story what inspired me. Like, okay, no, wait, like how can I be him for him? Be there for him in that way, you know. And I love that, like the power of storytelling, right? When you want to share one of your stories and you hesitate, just keep that in mind. You never know whose life you're gonna touch.
You never know.
Like her own personal story inspired you, and you went through a very similar situation as well.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It is. I'm very grateful for both of them, Jesus and Teresa. Like, and you know, and it's not like we said like, oh yeah, I want you guys to be my mentor. It's like to me, it's just like watching them. It's you know, it's sitting them like and sitting down and watching them do their life. It's just like I receive so much from them. Yeah. And you can receive so much from everybody, you know. Like I like observing. I'm a person that I like just like watching. Sometimes I'm the quietest person in the room because I'm just like, you know, as a sponge absorbing from what everyone is doing. Yeah. And I don't know, it's very beautiful to learn from them. They're like a very great example of human beings, you know. Yeah. They're just like, I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah. They just, you can see all the work that they've done with themselves. Yeah. That they show up in this way, that they just inspire us in so many ways.
Exactly. Yeah, I think sometimes people think that sharing all this wisdom or all these concepts or all this knowledge is, or like all these teachings is like the way to really teach people how to be or how to act or whatnot, and that's important. Yeah. And though, like, I think the biggest teachers are just people who are in pure presence, leading with heart, with integrity, and just showing the way with the way that they move through life and walk through life. Yeah. They don't even, you know, they don't even impose their concepts on anyone. They don't even try to teach, like, speaking to anyone in a way that they just are.
Yeah. They just, you know, gather people together for music, for conversation, for, you know, sharing words, and through their words and through their example, through the way they carry themselves, you're like, oh, wow, I can live life like this. Yeah. With just switching, you know, the way I see things.
Exactly.
And
and beautiful. I love them for that too. They're a great
example. Can't say like, oh, I've taken note of this concept that that Jesus shared or that Teresa shared. Like, no, it's just what you say. It's just the way of being. It's just, you know, living with life with heart and integrity and
the way they move through life. Yeah, it's super powerful. All right, back to Puentes.
Back to Puentes, because we added another bridge to the song.
We got, exactly, there we go. We got 2 bridges to this song, to get to this song.
So that song, came. It was one of the first songs that I wrote. The concept of it, of Puentes, came from. I was taking a class with a workshop through Zoom during the whole 2021 situation, lockdown situation. It was this, to me, one of my favorite Dominican songwriters. His name is Tone Vicioso.
Okay.
He's a guitar player and songwriter, and he's got this really cool band that I got to play with at some point, and it was really amazing learning from him. So he was doing this workshop on the traditional rhythms from the Dominican Republic. And he was saying how the people that are born in those regions, because those rhythms, those manifestations, those traditions come from the parts of the island that, that are closer to our African heritage. And they live in the countrysides or the outsides of the city, and that's their life. They are born into that. Their parents have been playing this music for it's been in their families for generation, and they keep passing it on. So he was defining those people as sources. They're the source of this culture, of this rhythms, or of these traditions. And then there's the other ones that live in the city, that are not born and raised into those traditions, but have so deep admiration and appreciation for them, that seek them and want to know and respect them and honor them and share them. And then they become bridge for those traditions to get to parts of the world that may have not gotten, because not everyone's going to go to Villamella or to, whatever bate in the Dominican Republic and witness that. But through us, those bridges, we can share it with the world and bring people together with that. So that was the spark to the song, to the bridge. And then I started writing it, and it was kind of like, there's a lot in it, because there's a little bit of me introducing myself, who I am, in the verses of the song. Then, the chorus is about us understanding that our experiences are just bridges. Yeah. Our traditions, our music, our cultures, our food, our music, they're just bridges connecting our different perspective of this shared human experience. And if we're able to stand together in the middle of that bridge and look at our cultures with wonder and awe, and be like, wow, this is so cool, you guys do this way, we do this way, we have this in common. Wow. And that can be that uniting point. So that song, it comes from there. It comes from understanding my identity, because I was also going through that process as a artist, coming up and understanding myself, what my path was. Was what music am I gonna do? I was so into rock, hip hop, reggae, funk, and all those things, but I felt that as much as I loved them, that was not me. What I had always had around me was merengue, was bachata, was all this, all these rhythms from my native island. And if I was gonna come out to the world and share something unique, I would have to bring all of those things together: the rock, the funk, the jazz, the merengue, the bachata, all of that stuff, and try to put it all together in a melting pot and share it in the world. So I was going through that process of understanding myself, and that's kind of something what I'm pouring there in those verses. This is me, this is where I come from, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, and this is what I believe, that we're just here to connect all these different dots of this shared human experience.
Así mismo, tigre, como dicen los dominicanos.
Tú estás clara, tú sabes.
So in Dominican Republic, I love it because I've been a few times, and I have so many friends from Dominican Republic, and between guy friends, male friends, they call each other tigre.
Tigres, yeah.
So it's in Colombia, in Medellin, muchas veces a lot of the times it's parce, but in Dominican Republic it's tigre, and I love it. I always mess around with my friends and call them tigre all the time. Salva, all right, so before we hop into Puentes, is there anything else that you want to add that maybe you didn't say? And I also know you have a concert coming up.
Yes.
It's your first big concert, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a really big one, for sure. I've never been involved in the process of putting something this big together before. So, let's dive a little bit into this. So April 21st, I'm going to start with the date. April 21st, 2024. It's this concert called Caminantes de la Nueva Tierra. It is a coming together of the artists and musicians that I've been working with over the past year and a half or two, producing all this music for and with. So, you know, you've witnessed some of these people's talents. You've witnessed Queso, you've witnessed Sasha, Emilia, you know, and all the musicians behind this. And it's like, there's all this talent, and we haven't had that opportunity to be on a big stage yet. We've been into all the, you know, this festivals, really cool festivals, very, you know, we've shared music and ceremonies, all these kind of things. But I've been craving, you know, all of us being able to be on a stage, you know, like big, and show everybody what we can do when we come together, when we have the right sound equipment, when we have the time to set up, to be there, to be intentional, absolutely intentional with what we're doing. So Caminantes de la Nueva Tierra, it's that. It's bringing us all together to share with the world the message of our music, that it's like we already are in the new earth. We already are there. We just need to shift the perspective, open our eyes to see the beauty around us, to connect with ourselves, to open up ourselves, and to see the beauty in every experience, in every person, in every human, and be compassionate with everyone, because in the end, we don't know what anyone's going through.
Yeah.
And every human experience is necessary for Creator, for God, for whoever put us here. They need to have absolutely every one of all the human experiences possible. So all of them are valid. All of them are here for a reason. And you know, sometimes we're like, oh, why did this person have to go this way? Why did this person have to live this way? Why is this person suffering? We can try and help. We can be there. We can be of support. And sometimes those persons don't want that support, that help, because that's the experience that they have to live. They have to go through that life. We can't change it for them. We can try and we can help them, but unless they are willing to change it and be like, no, this is my story, then that's the story. So we have Caminantes de la Nueva Tierra. It's about opening our eyes to, like, we are here already. The new earth that we're praying for, that we want to bring forward, is here already. We just need to embrace it.
We're creating this new earth.
Yeah. So, and well, right now, I'm going to give the opportunity to 10 people to get free tickets for that show. So all you got to do is go to Salva Alba Rocks. That's SalvaAlba.rocks. And click contact me, send me a message with your full name and email address, and you'll have a ticket to Caminantes de la Nueva Tierra, April 21st at the Teatro Manuel Artime in the Little Havana area.
I love it.
Yeah.
There you go. All right,
Yeah.
you guys have it. With that said, let's hop into Puentes.
Let's go into
Unless
the
you want
music.
to leave us with more words of wisdom, but I think this interview has been
Just
so
remember
beautiful.
the password. Just remember the password. I am.
I am. Thank you, Salva.
Thank you, Emiliana. So grateful for this. Thank you so much.
Me too.
Uniendo tierra de norte a sur, de este a oeste, pa'l campo voy, llevo conmigo un poterrón para entregarme de corazón. Nací en la ciudad, soy de la capital, pero los cueros y la madera a mí me hacen bailar. Yo no me conocía, yo no entendía nada, hasta que llegó el día que conocí el gaga. Ay, yo soy como tú, y tú eres como yo, unidos por un puente, español. Esta tierra estaba viva cuando llegó Colón. Taínos y africanos se unieron aquí, y de esa mezcla hermosa nació nuestra raíz. Un pueblo de arreíto, de palo y con sazón, que aguanta huracanes y baila de sol a sol. No vengas tú a decirme ahora quién soy yo. Aquí somos todos hijos de la luna y del sol. Ay, yo soy como tú y tú eres como yo, unidos por un puente de aquí a Nueva York. Ay, yo soy como tú y tú eres como yo, unidos por un puente de aquí a Nueva York. Hey. Nos une a todo un puente de azúcar y de ron, tabaco, casabe, cacao y berrón. Somos la misma esencia con distinto sabor. Enseñamos todos los dientes cuando suena un merengón. Nos une a todo un puente de azúcar y de ron, tabaco, casabe, cacao y berrón. Somos la misma esencia con distinto sabor. Enseñamos todos los dientes cuando suena un merengón. Ay, yo soy como tú y tú eres como yo, unidos por un puente de aquí a Nueva York. Ay, yo soy como tú y tú eres como yo, unidos por un puente de aquí a Nueva York. Gracias,
Muy bien.
Gracias. Gracias. Gracias.
The sun forsake me and the moon forgave me. Traveled far to support the sun, nestled in the sand. On the way I found myself holding my own hand. Eagles there I thought I knew would soar with me in flight. Bleeding out instead I cried alone into the night. The sun forsake me and the moon forgave me, so I turned my songs to the sea. My back supported as I leaned on boulders and found myself in family. Goldilocks into a bed, I woke to angels call. Christmas helped to turn the page and made it safe to fall. Told to stay and hold the moon in non-existent space. Returned our prayers to Yemajah, candle fireplace. The sun forsake me and the moon forgave me, so I turned my songs to the sea. My back supported as I leaned on boulders and found myself in family. I weave feathers for the cedar, shells for the Amazon. Dance cha-cha on the beach all night until the break of dawn. Didn't see the sun again until the week was through. Oh, cake around a foreign land, but from the horse I flew. The sun forsake me and the moon forgave me, so I turned my songs to the sea. My back supported as I lean on boulders and found myself in family. My back supported as I lean on boulders and found myself new family.
That was it. Do you feel it? That was it.